we're going to be exploring Genitourinary Syndrome of Menopause, or GSM. This is the first I've heard of it, so of this term, but I'm sure I'm suffering from the symptoms. Dr. Sangeet, can you tell us what is GSM?
You said it very well. It stands for Genitourinary Syndrome of Menopause. Now, what actually happens, see, a lot of the women with perimenopause, menopause, we tend to suffer from all this vaginal dryness, right? And then recurrent urinary tract infection, that itchiness, and then there's this discharge. So what's happening? Right? So as the estrogen, so this is more towards the estrogen, as it dips, the inner lining of the vagina, it becomes thin, dry, inflamed.
Okay.
Now, that leads to, number one, recurrent urinary tract infection.
Right.
That's one of the reasons.
Okay.
Right. So with friction, this pain, of course, there's going to be painful intercourse because there's no lubrication. And with the friction, so a lot of them post, intercourse, they tend to have discharge.
Right.
Or urinary tract infection.
Okay, so UTI, well, I just had UTI recently, but it's not recurring though.
Yeah.
Right, and it was easily resolved with one of those sachets that you can get at the pharmacy. But so this is also what's happening, and people are wondering why this is happening.
Yeah.
Now they know it's GSM.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can I say a little bit more?
Yes, please.
So it just goes beyond the vagina because it affects your urethra, your bladder.
Right.
So a lot of the time, because of the dip in the hormones, especially in the estrogen, even the lining, when you're talking about, the tissues in the bladder or even in the urethra, it becomes thin, it gets affected. Now, that all leads to increased frequency, the urgency, irritable bladder. You have heard of that term?
Yes.
So even though your bladder is not full, you just feel that I have to go and
This is me.
I know, I've been there too, so I understand. But it's treatable.
Okay.
So actually with that, what really works is actually, it's the intravaginal cream.
So
We've
okay.
got the E3. We've got the E3, we've got the DHEA. Now, what a DHEA does is basically, it also breaks down into E2.
Right.
Now, when it talk about the elasticity of the vagina,
Right.
when it becomes really thin, you lose the elasticity. That's because of lacking in E2. The E3, the estriol gives it more lubrication effect.
Okay. So we always have to say, I like to say, I got weak bladder. Right? That's just
the incontinence. Yeah. Now, what happens? The pelvic floor muscles becomes very, weak. Okay. So Kegels helps, and then, the estrogen. So this is where the hormone comes in. We can do whatever it takes, but when it comes to certain things, we cannot really beat the hormones. What it does when you replace it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's from young or whatever, but I tend to go to the toilet a fair bit, and especially like a dip and change in temperature when I travel. It's like every 15 minutes, and then it takes me a few days to regulate. So there's I think a little bit of the body, but a little also what's happening there. But I'm okay with having to go to the toilet more often. I'm more concerned I can't get there in time.
Okay, so that's when the incontinence, slight, when you cough, or sometimes holding, because you can't hold it, right?
Right.
A lot of others, they slight cough, slight sneeze, they leak.
Okay.
So because the bladder becomes very weak, the pelvic floor muscles becomes very weak.
So it's nothing to do with the fact that it's childbirth and all that.
Well, I guess with the childbirth and stuff, because you're coming through it becomes weaker.
Right.
But, Kegels helps a lot as well. These days, I've got laser machines, the aesthetic clinics, they have the laser machines to tighten, to do all sorts, even to treat all this incontinence issue.
But isn't that then just, what do you call it? It helps.
Yeah.
But you're not addressing the symptoms.
Correct.
Again, right? Yeah. So you rather address the symptoms.
Absolutely. So you have got all these options. Some people, they're very, when it comes to relationship, I think women, it affects their confidence. So they just want to, be better than all this. So they combine everything. They will do the hormonal treatment. They will go and do the lasers.
Okay.
They do everything.
Okay, so all these are the possible solutions, right? So maybe you can talk a little bit more about that, okay? People who suffer in silence, right? I mean, so you can go to your aesthetic clinics, but you can also go to your doctors to get creams and what have you as well.
Yeah, so those were the days we used to use a lot of lubricant, but that doesn't address the underlying.
Okay.
Right? So again, it boils down back to the hormones. Yes, you can use certain lubricants, it'll be even better. So you combine everything.
Okay. So this is also vaginal dryness, right? In that
Yeah, it
sense.
starts with the vaginal dryness. So that's the first symptoms, right? Because otherwise, it usually starts with that.
Okay, so then that's when it's another one of the signs. So we've got everything. We've got the frozen shoulder, the hot flashes. It's happening all the whole joint pains, you name it. Anything could be it all relates, right? It all connects. So you just don't know what it is, right? Okay, so apart from that, right? There's a decrease in libido. So we're doing all this. What else can we do to improve this? Like, I mean, how do you have this conversation, I guess, with your partner?
You gotta have an open dialogue, open conversation. I think you just have to speak, whatever, your desires, your fears, or whatever that's happening. So I think, there'll be more understanding. And what do you do? How we can work. So when you talk a lot about intimacy, and I think, I guess intimacy, it changes with menopause, but hey, it's still great and it could be even better.
Right.
Now, here's the silver lining. It's reported that postmenopausal women, they have experienced more intense orgasm.
Okay.
So it's possible.
Why is that?
Okay, and I think one of the reasons is less inhibition. We are not like those days we have to worry in the morning. Okay, we have to wake up, prepare breakfast, prepare our children,
okay.
our lunch.
We won't get pregnant.
We won't. So that's the newfound freedom. No menses. You don't have to worry about fertility, pregnancy.
Okay.
Right? And I think we are more in tune with our body and we communicate better.
Okay.
Less inhibitions and
so it can be better. So that's what you mean by open communication and everything else that comes along with it.
And one thing I notice about women, you can give them all the creams and all that, right? You take this, okay, scream cream, and
Scream cream. Okay.
you can address, give you testosterone. But whatever that goes on between our 2 years up here, if you don't address that, it's not going to be the same. You cannot, you cannot achieve the orgasm. You cannot have that kind of intimacy that you're looking for.
Right. Okay. So this is important stuff here. Again, right? There are solutions out there. There are many ways of addressing it, but I like what you were saying that really at the end of the day, it's about what's happening between the 6 inches between the ears.
You're so cute, are you?
6 inches. And those 6 inches.
Cut.
See, this inches between the ears. You immediately went there. You're so funny. We had well, we keep the part. See how we want to do it.
Please don't delete. That's like it's so hard.
This is the belly fella.